to commemorate the second anniversary of the illegal invasion into Ukraine by Russia. And we have gathered in this very room to commemorate this occasion, this terrible anniversary. This will be our third time because immediately following the invasion, we were able to get connected to the theater of Playwrights in Ukraine and to perform readings of their works that were written in the immediate aftermath of the invasion. And last year, we again gathered to read plays that had been written in the year following the invasion. This year, we gathered to read a play that was written before the invasion in 2017, and it concerns the war in the Donbass region of Ukraine. And this play is called Bad Roads by Natal'ya, who's a very well-known Ukrainian playwright and screenwriter. So without any further ado, please join us for a reading of Bad Roads. And if you haven't already, please go to the the Ukrainian Crisis Relief Fund on globalgiving.org and make your donation. Thank you so much.
When I first traveled to the Donbass region, they asked me to fill out a form, and on the form I had to describe myself, my appearance, any particular features, just in case something happened to me, so they could identify the body. But I don't have any particular features, so I'll just describe everything. My name is Natasha. I'm 40 years old already. I have a small build, so I look younger, and I have a large nose, beautiful brown eyes, thin lips, small breasts, and thin arms and legs. I have some ugly scars on my body, one on my belly from an operation and another on my buttock from an injection I had at school. I'm not in great shape because of all the stress and I'm not looking after myself properly. I'm pale and sometimes I can feel my heart racing. You'll call me Sparrow. Now I'll describe you. Your name is Sergei and you're 38, average height, although no, you're shorter than average. You're strong, trim, uptight. You look older than you are. You've got a strong voice, harsh gray bristle on your head. You've got brown eyes, and when I look into them, I feel as if they've taken me hostage and left me in a dark basement where some unknown terror is about to begin. I desperately want to look into your eyes. I desperately want you to like me. I've already fallen for you. I fell for you, but not at first sight. It was the second time. I was interviewing you in a cafe in Kiev. It was a warm winter. I dressed up and I was wearing my red coat. You were in uniform. I said, you look good. A muscle twitched on your face, and I realized you were pleased. You're this hero. You're talking about the war, about the Donetsk airport, which is what I was researching. You start drawing on a napkin the old and the new airport terminals, the position of the enemy, list the names of weapons. I pretend I'm following, but I'm not really. You're remote, inaccessible, but my interest in the war excites you. This is my only road to you. You're drawing the only road back from the airport. Your hands are coarse. See, Natal'ya, the storm brigade had been relieved and we were leaving along this road here. And here were the rocket launchers, and here the guns, and here the armed personnel carriers, and there's a lot of firepower concentrated here. And this is one of our tanks burning. We had a casualty and 3 fatalities that day. 4 of the enemy died on mine wires. You are talking, and I am watching your lips. And then I go to the cinema and watch a documentary about the war. You just told me about it, and then I go and watch a film about it, about the war that you were just in. Explosions going off around you. You're carrying a gun, you're filthy. Right in front of us, a soldier dies, a young guy, and then there's a casualty, and then another dead body. And you're shouting orders. I can't take it all in, that these explosions and shots and deaths aren't just fake for the film, that the dirt on your face isn't makeup, that you aren't just some ripped Brad Pitt lookalike, and that you really have killed another person. I tried to pray to the picture of Mary in one of the cathedrals down at the Vaidutski monastery. I don't really know how to pray, but all the same, the tears are streaming down my face. I pray for my mother, my daughter, for peace in Ukraine. I light a candle for all the dead. But I am not crying for them. Let's be honest, I'm crying for you. I want love with you, but I can't do it. I'm ashamed to ask her for that. But Mary understood and passed up my message. She probably said, this woman wants to suffer. Help her. And then you rang and said, come with me to the zone. I'll show you the front line. Would you like to? Who turned down an offer like that? Everyone wants to be on the front line. I made the decision in an instant. I didn't take hot coffees and cold chicken and all the things a woman would take when she sets off with a man on a long journey. So we ate disgusting hot dogs in petrol stations and drank coffee with the sour taste of vomit. You don't listen to music in your car with this camouflage paint. You smoke and you don't say much. Ahead of us, the road breaks up. Ahead is the East and the war. You and me, 2 complete strangers, completely different species. How come I feel so calm, so happy? You tell me about the battle for the Donetsk airport, the battle I'm researching. The separatists wanted to take the airport in time for Putin's birthday as a present for him. They were going to use this rocket launcher, Buratino. It's like a weapon of mass destruction. It destroys every living thing within a radius of 3 kilometers. Our commanding officers weren't confirming this openly, but they weren't denying it either. But we were pretty convinced by the way the separatists were evacuating weapons and people away from the airport. In just a few hours, the airport, which had been under fire and siege for months, was no longer surrounded. It's like there's this terrible silence all around. The first silence in that airport. All night we were preparing for the end. I rang my daughter, I helped her to do her homework over the phone, and I took a good while to wash myself with wet wipes. There'd been no water for a long time. No one wanted to sleep, and someone suggested looking for basements. We looked all over, but we didn't find any. But actually, no basement would have saved us from Buratino, and that kind of consoled us. At dawn, they began storming the building with tanks. You cannot imagine how ecstatic we were. It meant they weren't going to use Buratino. We were going in deeper, closer and closer to Donbass. Passing wretched, tumbled down houses, broken up roads, and I'm thinking how depressing it all is. You say, it's depressing, isn't it? We drive on. We drive through a pine forest. I think, can't beat a pine forest. You say, can't beat a pine forest, can you? We drive on. We drive into Kirovograd. I've never been to Kirovograd. No one comes to towns like this unless they have to. We're in the military zone now, and you set up for an interview with me with a famous battalion commander. For 4 hours, he tells me funny and not so funny stories about the Donetsk airport from my research. He tells me things, shows me photos. He must have forgotten you shouldn't show civilians pictures of bodies ripped to pieces. Once we killed these 3 separatists, and we thought we'd keep their bodies in one of the freezers left around the airport. We thought we might exchange them for some of their captives, but no one ever came looking for them. So there they were, the 3 of them, stuffed in tight together. When we had new recruits, they often tried to use that freezer as a table to eat off. And every time one of the more senior lads would come over and fling back the freezer door. We lost a captain on our last tour. We couldn't find his body. And then we all gathered for a briefing one day, and suddenly, in a complete silence, a mobile rang. It wasn't one of ours. This childish ringtone ringing out in a derelict airport. No idea where it was coming from. We started to look, and we found a body in the debris. It was the lost captain. His mobile was ringing in his pocket, and his mom was calling him. It was probably friendly fire that killed him, and his body had been hidden. We both stay in a hotel with the most totally inappropriate name, the Palatio, a twin room. You lie down on the bed on the right, lay your machine gun and handgun tenderly by the pillow, sigh a couple of times, and fall asleep. Too quickly. You aren't pretending, you snore. I lie on hot coals all night, and not because I see before my eyes the photographs from the commander who forgot that you shouldn't show civilians pictures of bodies ripped to pieces by explosions, and not because you are snoring. I lie on hot coals for one reason only. I want you. I think about how it could happen right now. You get up and come over to me, or you stretch out your hand in the darkness. No, you say, "Come here," in a commanding voice, and I step into your dark bed. But no, you won't call me. You lie there, surrounded by your weapons and snoring. I was injured, so I had to leave the airport with the lads who were leaving after their tour, going back to Pesky. At the last moment, someone threw a sack of kittens into the car. The mother had been killed in the fighting. The kittens were left, and it was all a shame to leave them. So we thought we'd take them with. Only we forgot to tell the driver, so we were driving along, and we get into some trouble. They're shooting at us. The car is hit, and it keeps dying, and the driver can't work out how to get it started again. And this bag of kittens opens, and they're thrown about all over the car. The driver can't work out why the fuck the car is still going forward, like some mystic power at work. But when the kittens start dropping off the ceiling on him, then he loses the fucking plot. He thinks he's gone nuts, that we were bombed, and this is hell. I can't tell him because I lose consciousness, and when I come around, I realize I'm in a field hospital. Where the rest are, the kittens. I haven't got a fucking clue. They ask me how old I am, medical history, and I answer automatically. Then I hear the nurse say to the surgeon, "He'll do." They're about to inject the anesthetic and operate. And I remember these stories about how they cut organs out of injured patients during operations, and I feel for my grenade in my pocket, pull out the pin and hold it out. "Listen, you cunts, you operate without anesthetic. If I get knocked out, then you all go with me." They operate without anesthetic. One of the doctors passed out. I never loosened my fucking grip on the grenade. The operation was a success. How strangely this love has come to me. In what strange association? The road, empty petrol stations, the first checkpoints, the first soldiers, the first armored vehicles come towards us, the first night in the first military base. The officers eat kebabs, drink brandy. They have no motivation to fight. You have motivation and a guitar. I have a digital recorder and a racing heart. When you take up your guitar, I forget that one of my exes was a snob about guitar music and used to despise sing-alongs. We all watch you with adoring eyes and sing along tunelessly. Another officer films a clip and puts it on Facebook. 100, 200, 1,000 likes. Our women have gone crazy for soldiers this last year. A girl I know even got a tattoo. I heart the airborne. And now I'm crazy too. The officer who filmed you hangs out on social media a lot. He put up a clip of himself coolly addressing the enemy from the airport under siege. He's got 50,000 followers on Facebook. Women leave comments like, "My hero," and "I want your babies." I spend the night in the officer's barracks where no woman has ever set foot. I sleep on a camp bed and a sleeping bag. You snore on the bed beside me. I bet you can't even hear how you snore because you have concussion and you can't hear in your left ear. In fact, all 12 officers are snoring, but we were drinking hard, so I nearly sleep. There is no heating, no shower or toilet in this place. The nearest toilet is about 300 meters through the mud, but there is a huge TV screen given to them by some volunteers. Glamorous men and women slide across its screen from morning until night. Slick talk show hosts in fancy suits make jokes about politics. I wake up and I see the soldiers' backs, and yours. You're standing, facing the screen, cradling a smoking coffee. I can get quietly dressed behind your back and even wash a bit with wet wipes. Sometimes, when I fought with my ex-husband, I tried to imagine him going off to war just to stop myself from totally hating him. I imagined his unhappy, intellectual back, a kit bag on his shoulder. I imagined him walking into the distance like a scene from an old Soviet war film. I watched his receding back and wept and I forgave him everything. The men's backs in front of the TV screen are different, straight and strong, but I still want to weep and forgive them everything. Your straight back. You look like there's an iron rod running through you, a ramrod out of place in any normal kind of existence. And you look like a dried up plant in the desert. When I look at you with all the love my sly writer's heart can muster, and you feel my gaze on you, it's as if you draw in water. Your features seem to smooth themselves out. It doesn't last long. I see in that moment how lonely you are, how unused to human company. There's nowhere to eat on the road to Mariupol. It's getting dark, the towns and villages are fewer and fewer. You want me to have some food. At last, at one of those wretched little roadside cafes, we were served by 3 girls, probably still at school. The cafe is a hellhole, barely lit, but their young faces are shining in the darkness. They look like small, frightened birds. Once my mom and I were arguing in the corridor at home. She gets on my nerves because she doesn't take her shoes off at the front door. She walks all the way down to the living room and takes off her shoes there. She walks in all the dirt. We were having such a row when suddenly there was an explosion. The first one in our town. It was terrifyingly loud. My mom and I forgot all about our fight. She threw herself at me shouting, "Daughter, daughter!" We sat down in the doorway like they said you should do in an air raid. My mom had a hysteric. She was crying and she kept repeating, "Daughter." I will never forget that daughter. I'd never heard her speak that way before. When I was little, there were more boys than girls in our yard. There were only 2 girls and the rest of the kids were boys. We used to play at weddings. A boy called Kostya made up the wedding game. He was the oldest of all of us. I was always the bride. And Kostya was always the best man. I wore a bit of a net curtain on my head. Our parents brought out tables and wine glasses. My bridegroom Sasha sorted the food and drink. He used to love eating, so that must be why he liked getting married so much. He wetted bread and water and sprinkled sugar on it. Once I couldn't find any net curtains, so I got some scissors and chopped off a bit of the new curtains in the hall. My mom didn't tell me all. She kept that bit of curtain and it's still there in the cupboard. But our best man Kostya was killed last summer, hit by a bomb. I often remember our weddings. There was a family with a little girl down in the basement with us. She was about 3, perhaps. Explosions kept going off, and her parents told her they were fireworks to stop her getting frightened. So then every time there was an explosion, the little girl shouted, "Yay." The girls brought battered meat, potatoes, and salad. You eat a double portion. You like meat and potato. The food is disgusting in the zone. I nearly vomited up the macaroni and meat at the military base by the sea where we ended up. So we eat on the beach. Canned tuna you brought with you and bread. I don't know how many days we spent together, how many times we stood so close we could have kissed, or slept so close we could have held out our hands to each other. You must have come to a decision today, though, when you took the canned tuna and wine down to the beach. After Crimea was invaded last year, we hardly had any sea left in our country. The Azov Sea is a pathetic little sea for the poor. There was a hotel here once. Now it's a military base for volunteers. An empty beach with pine trees along the shore. Can't beat a pine forest. On the other side of the bay, the sound of explosions and beautiful gray clouds of smoke rise like fountains and spread along the horizon. Over there is the village of Shirokino and the front line. Over there right now, men are blowing each other to bits with rocket launchers. The March sun is so bright. You kiss me for the first time. You decide when and how to do it. I decide nothing. My legs go weak. I can't stand it. It feels like this is fucking it. Here it is. That very scene from the film about love. I have seen it and I have heard about it so many times and felt it for others, but never for myself. Here you are, love. In your honor, bombs are falling off the shore. In your honor, someone has just had their leg ripped off. How crass it is to talk about love and war. To talk about the first kiss against a backdrop of fire. It's just like too big, too beautiful. I can just feel you're all cringing, and at the same time you envy me. Shall I tell you about the sex? I don't know what you'd do if you found out I was telling an audience in a theater about us. Would you shoot me dead? No, of course not. But I know that you'd be angry, and you'd break off all relations with me straight away. Still, we hardly have a future together. I close my eyes and I see no future for us. The way I live, my liberal views, all irritate you, and your radical views frighten me. You are so jealous and you'll never admit it. An earnest young vegan loves me and is waiting for me at home in Kiev. And somewhere in Lviv, there's another woman with big breasts who's waiting for you. She's younger than me, she has nail extensions, and she knows how to cook pork. I go on her Facebook page. She's a fucking idiot. She always posting cake recipes and weight loss suggestions. Like, one day she'll post a cake recipe and literally the next post will be how to lose 8 kilograms a week. And sometimes she posts these quotes by famous singers. So what if you're right when your lady is crying? And your beloved knows no rivals in love. And if a woman became a man and saw herself in his eyes, she would fall in love with every inch of herself. I mean, what the fuck? I think about you being wounded. I arrive at the hospital where she will also be, and another woman perhaps. How will we all share you? We all each will take a little bit of you. It'd be easier for us if you were already dead. She'd be the official mourner, weeping at the graveside. The others would stand to one side. We'd know each other by appearance, by the level of grief. She's in the States, slept with him twice, and the proud one in her black mourning dress, she must be the first wife. When my dad died, 5 or 6 women came to his funeral, and they all behaved like his widows. They took it in turns to speak and made speeches. They talked about how he loved them, and they loved him. And when he was being cremated, one of them came up to me and said, "Your dad owed me $300. And my dad, he wasn't even a war hero, although at some point a long time ago, he must have been an epic lover. But when he died, he was a 60-year-old invalid who had just had 3 strokes. 5 women fought over him at his funeral. I mean, if you're killed, think about what that'll be like. A war hero, a leader of men, this guy at the peak of life. And when it's my turn to speak at the funeral, what will I say? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow soldiers, brothers and sisters, when we first spent the night together, he couldn't get it up. After a week of hanging on, sleeping in barracks, kissing on the beach, we made it to a flat with a sofa bed and a shower and clean linen. When you'd taken off your machine gun, your holster, stripped off your uniform and your underwear and slipped out of this hideous war, you couldn't get it up. It barely stirred, and I was terrified. And so once again, you lay snoring and I lay awake all night. So this is war, I thought. This is the reality, and this is love. And I knew I could bear it, this love, even if it never happens. I'll just lie and smell you. You smell so good. I never knew a man could smell as good as you do. I wonder if you only smelled good for me or for them too. That's what I'll say, or not say. No, I will say it, if you're okay with that, because all the others will talk about the fantastic sex they had with you, you getting it up with them, and I need to be a different in some way. You don't want me to? Well, I've said it now, I'm sorry. Don't shoot me. Relax. No one knows you here. I won't be there to bury you. It'll be someone else. I'll kill you and mourn you in my script for a film about the siege of the Donetsk airport. You were the one who told me why Cossacks have so many songs about death. They're rehearsing their own deaths in life so they aren't scared when it comes. And they weren't scared. Maybe. How about if you go to prison? If they all put the volunteers in prison? Will we wait for you? How will we all visit you, one by one? I would definitely be better out of that one. I'm just not up for fighting for my happiness. But the unhappiest of all unhappy endings is you simply go back to Lviv and you're happy with your big breasts and the fake nails. Jesus, I wish you a long and happy life. Please, can you give us a better ending, Mary? You take off the little Ukrainian trident you wear around your neck and you fasten it around mine. The symbol of Ukrainian independence. You've worn it right through the war. The leather cord has soaked up the dirt and sweat from your body because when you were defending the airport, you didn't wash it for weeks. Every time I wash, I will remember that. Then the cord breaks and I wear it on a chain, and then I lose it. But right now you are taking it off and hanging it around my neck like a medal. I feel how important this is, and I ask you how I can thank you. You lower me to my knees in front of the mirror in the corridor of the hotel and under your flies. As much as you want, my love. A medal must be earned. I earned my medal and you watch in the mirror. People do such funny things, you said afterwards. Yes, it probably did look funny kneeling in front of a man in a uniform who was thinking of the task of a Ukrainian patriot. A Ukrainian patriot's task is to serve the people of Ukraine and keep the country united and independent. Not to get into politics, but to make politicians serve their people and their country. To give up your life to keep the country united if needs be. Conviction is contagious, did you know? You can catch it through oral sex. You drive me home. You know as well as I do that it will be a slow and painful parting. You from me from you. We, who were united for such little time, and no fucking patriot is going to give his life to keep us together. The woman at the petrol station offers us salted cucumbers on the drive home. She picked them and salted them last year during an air raid. She and her husband spent a week in the basement, and between raids, she would run out to the vegetable garden and pick the cucumbers so they didn't spoil. They were beautiful, really beautiful. I wasn't even sorry I don't drink vodka. I could drink it now.
Three teenage girls sit in front of the kiosk shop. They are chewing on sunflower seeds. During this scene, the characters talk without any emotional pitch and they don't shout. They are all tired of loud noises. They speak calmly. The girl only shouts once when the woman says the word Lord, and even that is essential.
I got a lipstick off Adam. Well, Bison gave me shampoo and conditioner. Feel my hair.
They all feel her hair.
Silky smooth. What did yours get you?
These seeds.
That doesn't count. That's just like seeds. What present did he get you?
Teenage girl 3 sits silently chewing on seeds and looking into the darkness.
Don't stress. He'll get around to it, won't he? You ask him for something. He's not mean.
If he hasn't given you a present by now, he's not going to.
He isn't mean. Teenage girl 1 and 2 exchange glances. He gave Uncle Kolya a sack of cabbage and a bucket of beetroot.
What's Uncle Koya got to do with it? Is he his boyfriend then or something?
He's just not mean, that's all. The others snort. They chew on seeds and watch the soldiers going into the kiosk shop and coming out with their purchases. Teenage girl 1 suddenly becomes animated.
There's their commander.
Yeah, I heard he blew up the checkpoint where Vovka's dad was posted.
He was after my mom,
Vovka's dad.
the commander, and Boker's dad. They're all after her.
It's gorgeous.
The commander.
I suppose, only she hates them. She beat me for going with Ukrainian soldiers.
I don't get it. I take home brandy and cans of meat. What about you?
Me neither.
Did you get in trouble?
Well, a bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
The kids at school are boycotting me though. They called me a slut and a Ukrainian shagger. So I told them that Bison would come and do them and that shut them up. But no one goes for a smoke with me anymore or lets me copy their work.
How come they know?
Someone let the secret out. Some fucking bitch.
I reckon it was Prava. She was on everyone's case.
Bitch. We should get her after school tomorrow.
Go on then. I've been waiting for ages. Hey, you can flush your head down the toilet.
Yeah.
You with us?
I can't tomorrow.
Why not? We run your side when Cole beat you up.
I'm not coming to school tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow then?
Maybe.
You've got a nerve.
Hey, come on, don't fight. I'm just pleased to be home from evacuation. I thought I'd go mad in Verdansk. Like, it's cool, there's a beach there, but all I could think of was what was going on with the cat and with Dad. And then I'm back and I'm in the street and I hear shooting and it just feels great to be back home. Standing there with the biggest smile on my face. And then Bison comes along and says, what are you thinking? Are you shell-shocked or something? Get down in that basement. That's how we met.
A whistle from the darkness. Teenage girl 2 gets up, comes to life.
I'll be seeing you then.
She kisses them and goes into the darkness. They sit for a while in silence.
I think it's right for not talking to her. He isn't her first, you know. She doesn't do it for love.
Are you doing it for love?
Yeah, I'm not willing to worry about Juliet. Everyone's against us and we're fighting our own. Adam is my first guy. How about you?
Teenage girl 3 is silent.
Have you even kissed him? Go on, tell us.
Teenage girl 3 is silent.
You haven't even kissed him.
Teenage girl 3 is silent.
If you don't want to go all the way, you can take it in your mouth or your arse. Only it hurts more in your arse.
Teenage girl 3 is silent.
Lost your tongue?
No, I just don't want to talk about that stuff.
We're friends. If we can't talk about it, then how will you find out about stuff?
I'll ask.
Want to know what my Adam says about your man?
No.
You should know.
When I need to know, I'll ask.
Quit being so stressy, no mates.
A whistle from the darkness, very different from the first. Go on.
Adam, right, I'm off. I'll see you later anyway.
The girls kiss and teenage girl 1 goes into the darkness. Teenage girl 3 remains sitting there on the bench. She stops chewing seeds. From time to time, she hears whistles, but they are not his. Other girls leave at each whistle. Woman 1, an elderly lady with a weary face and untidy gray hair, approaches. She sits carefully on the bench near teenage girl 3. Teenage girl 3 sees woman 1 and sulkily slides to the opposite end of the bench. She begins again, angrily spitting the husks on the ground. They remain like this for a while.
Give us a seat.
Teenage girl 3 carries on silently chewing seeds, but at length she does stretch out her cone of seeds and she pours some onto woman 1's palm. They both sit and chew the seeds.
Hey, love. It's late. Come home.
What's there at home?
We can watch some TV together. That first dates.
I don't want to.
You've missed it 3 times now.
I don't want to watch Russian telly.
We'll watch something else.
There isn't anything else.
We'll put on a DVD.
I don't want to. You go watch something.
I'm not going anywhere. I promised your mom I'd be there for you till
Till I what?
you grow up, love.
Till I go mad. Go home. Woman 1 stays sitting there stubbornly.
I'm all you've got.
I know.
No one else gives a shit about you.
No one gives a shit about you.
True. Me neither. Give us some more seats.
Teenage girl 3 gives her the seeds. Woman 1 takes them but doesn't begin chewing them.
He doesn't give a shit about you either.
Uh-huh.
The kiosk wasn't always here. Just a bench here, and I used to sit here with my friends. And when the boys were coming home from work, we'd wait for them here. Our boys coming home from the pit. It's all different now. He'll have his fun with you, and he'll move on.
Go home, man. I'm not coming home now.
You've got school tomorrow.
It's only PE first lesson. I can miss it.
How long have you been waiting here? He isn't coming.
Worse, he won't come if you sit there frightening him off.
He's scared of me.
He's not scared of anything.
He's a fascist, that's why.
He's not a fascist.
They'll slice us all up into salami when they're retreat.
You're a bit old and stringy for that, man.
I'm not worried for myself,
So why haven't they done it already?
because they get paid a lot.
They aren't going to retreat. Go home.
Let me do your hair in a nice place.
Don't touch me. If he comes, I'm going to pretend not to know you. I'll say I don't know you, and don't you dare say you know me.
How can I do that? I know you. I've known you since you were born. When Lena had you, I was sitting outside of the room and praying. When you were dying of the whooping cough, I was praying for you then and bringing you soup. And when you got lost in all the shops, I was.
You've got to stop praying for me. You prayed for Mom and she died. Everyone you pray for dies. Don't pray for me.
Lord,
No, throws the cone of seeds in her face. They sit in silence on the bench.
I'll go to their HQ and tell them he seduced you and raped you. And then they'll put him away for life. They don't want him in the army then.
I'll put my head in the oven and turn on the gas. And I'll leave school.
Janoska!
Don't you dare cry here.
I won't. Let's go home. I'll fry up some potatoes. We'll watch the TV.
No.
You have a bit of soup at least.
She gets out a container of soup. Put it away. It's like you're trying to show me up.
No point in wandering around hungry. Go on, just have a bit. I promised your mother, if you eat, I'll go. Do what you like. Fuck who you want.
Teenage girl 3 takes the soup with an expression of disgust. I'm eating. Go now.
What about the bowl?
I'll bring it back.
Where were you leaving?
If you don't go home, I'm not eating your shitty soup.
Put it in this bag and leave it under that bush. I'll come and collect it, but
All right. Woman 1 leaves the bag and leaves, but it's obvious she hasn't gone far and is just standing under a tree. Teenage girl 3 eats the soup. The earth quakes with some sudden nearby explosions. Woman 1 returns quickly.
did you hear that? They're firing at Boltzbo.
So?
He's not coming. They'll call him in.
Shit. It's all your fault. You came and that was it.
It's not my fault.
If he's killed, I'll put my head in the oven.
He'll survive.
How do you know?
I just do.
If he's killed,
I'll pray for him.
you aren't praying right.
Well, I won't then. He won't get killed. They're only killing our lot.
He's mine. A very big explosion close by.
Will we go home or straight to the shelter?
Let's go home. No, I don't want to. Let's go to the shelter. They walk slowly off to the shelter. Teenage girl 3 looking all around, still hoping he'll come. Scene 3. The Ukrainian checkpoint in Ukrainian territory, a little way back from the front line, next to a bombed-out petrol station. A car traveling in the direction of the front line stops at the checkpoint. An armed soldier wearing glasses checks the driver's
Passport.
Soldier 1 waits patiently. The head teacher offers his documents. Soldier 1 scans them. He lifts his eyes to look at the head teacher.
Alina.
I'm sorry?
Alina Sergeyevna, born 1975, is that correct?
Oh, goodness, that's my wife.
Perhaps you've got her husband's passport as well?
Soldier 1 waits patiently while the head teacher looks.
What's going on?
I don't understand that. I picked up the passport this morning. It was on top of the fridge. I thought it was mine.
Step out of the car.
Maybe you could ring my wife. She can confirm.
Have you got your license?
It was in the passport.
It's not here.
Well, no, that's my wife's passport. Oh, goodness. Can I call her and you speak to her? She can confirm it all.
That's all we need. We've got a driver without his documents here, Commander.
The commander emerges from the hut looking crumpled and irritated. He is much shorter than Soldier 1.
Here.
He shows the commander the passport. The commander looks at it and then looks at the car.
So, where's Alina Sergeyevna?
She's at work. She's got a late shift at the hospital.
Got the passports confused, so he says.
Step out of the car.
The head teacher gets out. He staggers. The commander sniffs.
He's drunk as well.
I'm local. I'm from Papasnia, guys. What's going to happen?
What do you think? Trying to cross a checkpoint in a conflict zone, drunk and without documents. What do you fucking think's gonna happen?
We were having a drink with some of your boys. Our school won an Army cadet competition, and some of your boys came in to congratulate us.
And what fucking school would that be?
School number 3. Over there, behind the block of flats.
Keep your hands still.
Hands behind your back, heads down on the car.
Soldier 1 pushes the head teacher into position down on the car boot.
Open up the boot.
The head teacher is lying on the boot.
Lie here or open the boot, for God's sake.
Open the boot.
The head teacher gets up and opens the boot. Soldier 1 examines the boot.
I'm the head teacher of school number 3. Everyone knows me around here. Ask anybody.
The thing is, head teacher, passports were invented so there was a need to go around asking anybody who you are. In a war situation, most people don't even go for a shit without their passports, let alone going for a motor around town. How did you leave the area? Did you cross the checkpoint?
What, on the way there?
Did you hear me?
I had my passport.
The one you left on the fridge.
Oh, fucking hell. That means that I must have taken both. Hers and mine. It's probably somewhere in the car. Let me just... It could have fallen under a seat.
That's known as contradictory evidence.
Soldier 1, who has been examining the contents of the boot, whistles loudly.
Get a fucking load of this.
The commander looks in the boot and whistles.
Hands behind your back, face down the car.
He pushes the head teacher back down on the boot. The commander gets a Kalashnikov out of the boot.
Listen, guys, I know you're not going to believe me, right? This is going to make you laugh. But actually, it's not real.
What?
It's a replica. It was presented to the kids.
What kids?
My kids, the one at my school, the older ones.
Soldier 1 examines the weapon.
Is it a replica?
That's no replica. It's real.
The soldiers from the local base presented it after the competition. To the kids.
Right. So you're expecting me to believe that we're now army children.
It's a replica for army training. Ring Major Kostenko?
We don't have a Major Kostenko here.
What do you mean? Aren't you the National Guard?
We're the Krasinski Battalion.
And you don't know Major Kostenko? Bald guy, missing a finger?
Keep quiet for a moment.
What will we do, sir?
I'll ring HQ. You put him in the dugout. But spend some time down in the dugout with our rats, and you'll sober up before you can say the word. I'll get the lock from security to sort this out.
But I've got to teach in the morning. Let me rid my life at least.
Liberal, can you hear me? This is Anchor. Yup. We got a guy here drink driving, no passport, and a Kalashnikov in the boot. He says he's a head teacher, making confused statements. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Major Kosenko! Know him? Who the fuck are you all fighting for?
What?
He's bald. He's got a finger missing.
Who's got a finger missing?
No one.
Who are we fighting for?
All right, boys. Lead me to the dugout. Do what you want. I'm guilty. Only let me call my wife.
Personally, I'm fighting so my daughter doesn't wake up one day to a war raging around her like your children have. And so she doesn't have to hide in a fucking basement. Although I'm not actually fighting here. I'm just a wall between us and Mordor. But I will stand here and hold my ground until the last. I won't give in. And I'm also standing here to make sure that some drunken school teacher can't drive in Kalashnikovs around the place. To make sure that teachers like that aren't let anywhere near children. Who knows what the fuck you're teaching them, which country you love, what flag you're traveling under.
The head teacher nods but doesn't speak. The commander is in a real rage and calms down with difficulty.
What am I fucking fighting for?
I'm sober now. Honest, I am.
Which school is it?
It's a good school. Number 3. We're making camouflage netting for you. Weaving it.
Yeah, that's right. We went to get it.
The security services will decide who's weaving what and why.
The head teacher looks resignedly in the direction of the dugout. Suddenly he is animated by something he has seen.
Oh, Tanya! Tanya Marchenko!
What?
A girl looked out of the dugout and it was one of my year 8 students. Tanya! She'll confirm who I am, say I am. She's gone. What the fuck is she doing there?
Lessons. What else would she be doing? We have a school kid in all our dugouts. You need to drink less.
But I saw Tanya. For sure.
Where should I take him?
Send him home. Sleep it off. All his wild dreams, and tomorrow morning he can present himself with his passport. If you don't come, we'll find you, even if you run away to Russia.
Are you letting me go?
Yeah, sure.
Get the fuck out of here. Leave the Kalashnikov and the passport. Come back in the morning and we'll sort it out.
Just find Major Kosenko. He'll explain
Can you drive back?
slowly. And glory to Ukraine.
Just get out.
The head teacher gets into the car and drives off slowly.
Why did you let him go? He had a gun.
It was a replica, wasn't it?
Really? Looked real.
They examine the gun.
That's what the real ones used to look like. They use real old ones in schools. Didn't you do army and training in school?
No, I went to the French specialist school.
Fucking typical. No wonder the army's instated this. I used to be the fastest at stripping and reassembling them at school. Stopwatch?
Soldier 1 counts time, and the commander assembles and strips the rifle.
Fucking hell. 12 seconds.
Used to be 11. Do it again.
Soldier 1 counts time, and the commander assembles and strips the gun.
12. He's coming back.
A car approaches. The head teacher, now sober, gets out.
I found my passport. It was under the seat. It had fallen down.
The commander examines the passport,
Well done for you. Well done you. Off you go then.
but the head teacher doesn't move.
What? Oh yes. Here.
He gives the head teacher the rifle. The head teacher holds it and immediately looks quite different. He doesn't move.
She's an orphan. She lives with her grandmother,
Who?
Tanya
What fucking Tanya would that be?
Marchenko.
You've been smoking something as well?
For God's sake, Commander, it's wrong. I do understand that not all underage girls are the same, but all the same, you should leave her alone. Her mother died. Her grandmother brought her up. You know what that means? It means they couldn't leave right through the bombing. They spent months living in a basement. She's not a good student, I'll grant you, and she smokes, but she isn't a whore.
I think you're deliberately trying to fuck me off. Who do you take me for?
Just let her come with me. I won't mention it to anyone. I'll just take her home.
What a fucking nerve. I got a wife and a daughter.
No, you're the ones with the fucking nerve. What are you doing to us? We want to believe in you. We need your support. My wife looks after soldiers every day in the hospital. One lot bomb us, the others fuck our children.
I'll smash your fucking face.
They stand opposite each other, one holding a Kalashnikov replica, the other carrying real arms.
I give you my word as an officer. She's not here.
The head teacher hesitates.
Don't you believe an officer's word? Let's go then. You gotta look around. Come on.
The head teacher hesitates.
There was someone in there.
2 soldiers sleeping after their shift, and they keep a goose in there too.
Wasn't a goose.
Don't you believe me?
The head teacher so wants to believe.
Officer's word?
Officer's word.
I'm sorry, Commander. You must be right. My nerves, I expect.
The head teacher gets in his car and leaves. The soldier and commander stand beside each other. They don't look at each other. A camouflaged jeep drives up, coming from the front line. Soldier 2 at the wheel, soldier 1 at the checkpoint salutes him. Then he bends towards soldier 2 and says the first part, Aston.
Juventus,
Sure.
with you.
She's our medic.
Can I see your passport?
He takes it and examines it.
Have a good trip.
Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to her heroes.
The jeep goes. Soldier 1 is left. The commander disappears into the dugout. Scene 4. It is night. Soldier 2 and woman 2 are traveling in a camouflaged jeep. Soldier 2 is driving. Woman 2 sits by him. Both are in Ukrainian army uniform.
Can I put the radio on?
Okay.
He searches the airwaves, but can only find one channel playing tactic pop music.
That's all I can get.
Leave it.
They drive on listening to the terrible music. The jeep takes and rattles on the bad road.
There's a bad bit of road coming up.
Oh, I remember it well. The road was like this before the war, believe it or not. When I was a student in Kharkov, I used to come home this way at the weekend. Even back then, I would knock the fillings out of your mouth. And they talk about war. It's got nothing to do with the war.
I don't know. Probably all the tanks and heavy stuff coming along has broken it up.
Don't argue with me.
Okay.
They drive in silence, the conversation over.
Listen, I'm sorry.
It's fine. I understand.
It's just that this is all so absurd.
Grief. Yeah.
I said absurd. Didn't say grief.
Okay. Absurd.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Soldier 2 is silent. Woman 2 tries to swallow down her irritation.
What did you do before the war?
Sport.
So you mean you were a criminal?
A swimmer. Professional swimmer. How about you?
Me? I had a travel agency. Sent people off to fry their arses off on the beach.
I thought you did medicine.
I did just a few courses at the beginning of the war. You got a good body with all that swimming. Vidya had a nice body, but not because of swimming, he just did.
Uh-huh.
He didn't even have to bother with weights or anything.
Soldier 2 drives at low speed to avoid the potholes, but it isn't possible, and the jeep still shakes and rattles. He is silent and concentrates on the road.
Vidya used to race along.
True. He liked a bit of speed.
Do you know how we met Vova? That is your name, Vova, isn't it?
Vladimir.
Vladimir. Like Putin?
No, like my dad.
Is your dad still alive?
No.
Well, Putin is.
Yeah, I swept him around.
Can't.
I know.
Can I drink?
We're not really supposed to, but
I was joking. This is water.
Woman 2 gets out the flask and takes a big gulp.
What were we talking about?
my dad.
And before that,
You were talking about how your daughter came home.
yes.
Soldier 2 turns the music down.
We'd only got into the block and she started crying, pulling onto the walls of the front door. And when we went to the flat, she took off her boots and started pressing herself against the walls and the doors and the windowsills and all the rooms, and weeping and wailing like an old woman. She's only 7. I was following her and laughing and crying. I didn't know what to say to her. We'd only been away 3 months, went straight back after it was liberated. So I kept saying, other people have been bombed out. They've got nothing to go home to. And that set her off into hysterics. We weren't talking about how I met Vidya.
Oh, yeah.
They gave us pills every day. Horrible pills, lots of them. And he got fruit-flavored vitamin tablets. I was crying because I kept missing home. And he came over and he gave me his vitamin tablet. And I ate it. And then he gave it to me every day until we left.
I don't really get it.
We were in a hospital together when we were 9. An infection hospital in Kharkov. Horrible place.
You see, it started then.
Nope, not then. 30 years later in the field hospital here.
And you recognized him.
No, not until later.
Jesus.
He shouted at me when we first met because of that injured boy, but we couldn't have saved him. He was shouting from the start that I was to blame. Usually I give as good as I get, but at that time I just burst into tears. That was my first KIA.
I was still a trainee.
It got to do with you. I was crying and he came over and he gave me a sweet, like he gave me a vitamin tablet when I was 9.
Soldier 2 is silent.
Say something?
He won't let me.
Go on then.
He was a good commander, upbeat, brave, made everyone feel optimistic.
Oh, shut the fuck.
Woman 2 doesn't want to listen to this, so she turns the radio up. She hums along, she drinks from the flask. Soldier 2 is already totally fed up by this journey, although it has only just begun.
He had a shit personality. He could give you this look and it was like a brick in your face. And then he'd get out a guitar and everyone loved him. And then when he was drunk, he was so tender, like a cat. Said such beautiful things, the sorts of things I'll remember till I die. And on his arse, he had this scar from an injection he had as a kid, real deep scar. But I'd have recognized him without that. I'd have recognized him by his fingers, his nails, his knees. They didn't need to fucking DNA test the body. It wasn't like I wasn't someone to him. Stop, I want to be. I've needed you for an hour now.
Soldier 2 stops the Jeep. Woman 2 gets out. Soldier 2 turns off the engine. Silence. Something rasps in the back of the Jeep and Soldier 2 twitches nervously. Woman 2 returns. She's frozen. She gets it.
Christ, it's cold, my feet froze.
Soldier 2 tries to start the engine. It won't start. He tries a few times.
Is that a joke?
Hang on.
He tries again a few times.
Why the fuck did you turn the engine off?
I wanted some quiet. You talking the whole time, and when you're not talking, the music's pounding. With my shell shock, I can't get enough quiet.
Usually when you get enough noise, we got shell shock. You must be bad. But that was daft. What are we gonna do?
Soldier 2 tries again.
Fuck this. Why don't I get out and push?
She gets out without waiting for him to reply. He tries to turn the engine on. She pushes. He gets out and pushes with one hand and holds the steering wheel with the other. The Jeep starts to move, but the engine won't start.
Let me try and you steer.
Woman 2 sits at the wheel and Soldier 2 pushes, but the Jeep doesn't start. Woman 2 stays in the driving seat. Soldier 2 waits for her to move over for a while, then gets in on her side.
Bova, yeah? Just don't say this is the first time this has happened. Bova?
Soldier 2 doesn't reply.
Fucking fantastic. Mine is 12 and I'm overnighting in a car with 2 guys. Dream come true.
We'll stop somewhere.
Yeah, right. Like it's heavy traffic around here. Can't see for passing cars.
Soldier 2 tries to ring.
No reception. How surprising.
Yeah, it's my fault. I should have switched off the engine in the middle of nowhere.
Woman 2 doesn't say anything. She tries to switch on the radio, but it doesn't work.
Fuck.
It's my fault.
It's not your fault, Bova. Vidya. You can't let me go. Remember that song? Don't cry for me, my darling. We still have a last night.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, you were just a boy. That was the song of our youth.
She drinks for a long time from the flask. Soldier 2 switches on the hazard lights. They tick quietly in the silence. He looks out the window and hears the car comes past. They sit a little while in silence.
It's cooling down fast in here, isn't it?
Here,
He takes off his camouflage jacket.
Don't you dare. It'd be better if we fucked Vladimir. Nothing personal, just to keep us warm.
what?
You used to come and get pills from the medical unit all the time. And you'd watch me with hungry eyes. You fancy me, I know you do.
Yes, I lied to you, but not anymore. Your man's body is in the Jeep. You're trying it on with me.
Would you prefer I tried it on with him?
Stop.
He had a good body, but he doesn't turn me on now. And he's missing a head. A body without a head and a body bag just doesn't turn me on.
She kneels on the chair and looks back into the Jeep.
Vinya, where did you lose your head?
Don't drink anymore.
It's water. I don't drink on duty.
Takes a big gulp from the flask.
Vladimir, Boba, come on. It won't give me any satisfaction anyway. I froze my clit off in the dugout on our first tour. Me and Vidya, we have had strange sex. Like kind of a parody of sex. Sometimes he couldn't get it up and sometimes I hurt me. Hard when you love someone and you want them, but you can't do it. But we did some experimenting. Vidya, you remember our games. Come on, Boba, if only to make ourselves feel alive.
She puts her hand briskly into his trousers. He instantly pulls it out.
Get out.
Haven't you got any respect for your commander? This woman is cold. It's your job to warm her up. Or do you prefer boys? Is that why you're in the army, so you can hang around them? Wash in a communal shower with some pumped up smelly boys to go sleep next to them? You fancy the commander then, did you? Go on, you can tell me, gay boy.
Get out of the Jeep. Fuck's sake.
What? What did you say? You want a fucking slap?
Soldier 2 jumps out of the car, opens the door, and drags her out of the car by the scruff of her neck.
You piece of shit.
He throws her out of the Jeep, gets back in, and locks the doors. Woman 2 yells and bangs on the glass. Her face is distorted by an expression of sheer hatred. Stone hits the window. She lies down on the bonnet. She jumps on it. She throws stones at the window. Soldier 2 is beside himself with rage and powerlessness.
Fucking this fucking cunt. Fucking.
Woman 2 tires of all the craziness and slides down the bonnet. There's silence. Soldier 2 carefully looks down out through the window. Woman 2 leaps out, her face still contorted, but now there's an element of humor in her expression rather than hatred. She slides back down again. After a short while, she reappears on the other side. She begins passionately kissing the window by Soldier 2. She acts out scenes from the sinking of the Titanic. He watches her with revulsion and horror. Then her face suddenly empties of expression, becomes serious. She turns and disappears into the night. Soldier 2 loses her completely. He tries the engine again, but to no avail. He checks his phone, but there is still no reception. He begins to get worried about Woman 2. He opens the door. He gets out.
But Mia, hey.
Soldier 2 goes to look for her. There's the beep of an arriving text message on Woman 2's phone, which is in the glove pocket. The hazard lights tick. Soldier 2 opens the door and helps lift Woman 2 into her seat. She sits down. She was weeping.
Hey, shh. Nicole. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I've lost the pendant. His pendant, he gave me a pendant and I lost it in the snow by the Jeep.
I'll find it. Don't worry.
He gets out of the Jeep and searches. She locks the doors.
Vidya, he's hurting me. He keeps hurting me. Vidya, do something. I lost your pendant. I don't want him to see me crying.
She cries. Soldier 2 knocks on the door, and she gesticulates to him, making faces and gestures like a peevish, upset child. Soldier 2 smokes by the Jeep. Woman 2 gets out her phone and reads the text. She reads it a few times. She unlocks the doors. Soldier 2 gets back in. He is shaking with the cold. She holds her phone. She is crying.
There must have been reception, and then it went. But I got a text from Vidya.
She reads the text.
Says, find my head, Lyda. Come back for my head.
Leave it here. I'll delete it.
Jesus.
You know what it is. They got his phone. They're playing games.
Our texts to each other were on his phone. Pictures, stupid stuff.
She reads texts from Mitya.
Never ever shave your pubes or armpits. I'm gonna lick you all over till my tongue is numb.
Stop it.
So they can read his text, but you can't, is that it? The last text from him read, I borrowed your cup with poppies on it, sweetheart, XXX, animals. They cut his head off, and now they're reading our texts. I'm coming back, you fuckers.
We'll come back together.
I don't know how you can bury a person without a head. Why don't we cremate him?
Well, that's for you to decide.
No, I mean now. Burn his body. Let it disperse in the air. It would be beautiful. Symbolic.
Woman 2 gets out of the Jeep and opens the back door. She begins pulling the body bag out of the Jeep. Soldier 2 grabs hold of the other end.
You've lost your mind.
He's mine. I'll do what I want with him. And if we can have a bonfire, keep warm, I'm so cold. Vicky would have kept me warm, but you don't want to.
Come on now, I'll keep you warm. Come here. Calm down. We'll rip the body back.
A tearing sound. Woman 2 drops the body bag.
I'm so sorry.
She is in a muted, hysterical state. Soldier 2 gets out of the Jeep and helps her get back in.
Shh. It's so cold. Please. Doesn't matter. Got spirit bags and poop. Come here. Come here.
He hugs her and presses her close. It is morning. Soldier 2 is asleep, covered in his jacket. Woman 2 is not in the Jeep. She opens the door and sits in her seat. She's composed, sober, and wearing makeup.
Volodya, wake up.
He wakes up instantly, sits up.
The guys will push us.
Someone is pushing the Jeep. The engine starts. Woman 2 looks out of the window and waves to someone.
Give me 5 minutes. Stop the Jeep.
He stops the Jeep, but keeps the engine running. The woman looks at him attentively.
Did you dream of anything?
I dreamed I was so cold I couldn't sleep.
I dreamt of those Ugg boots with the sequins on.
What?
Ugg boots, you know the boots? I saw them on this girl in Kiev when I was last there, all covered in sequins and beads. I wanted those boots so much that I dreamed of them last night. I dreamed I was putting them on and my feet were suddenly warm.
Shall we get going?
No, I'll get a lift back with the guys to the unit. You don't alone.
Why?
Lara will get in at the next checkpoint.
Who's Lara?
Vidya's wife. His widow.
But what about you?
I'm no one. I was just accompanying him to his relatives. But if you don't mind, I'll get out of here.
Didn't know.
Men like him are always married.
We're like the ideal couple for me. Bastard.
What?
He took 4 of the guys off with him. Y'all knew it was a crazy mission, but he took them with him.
Don't speak ill of the dead.
Your Vivian was a bastard. Wife, lover.
Hey, you've still got a bit farther to travel with him.
Fuck him, did she know?
I don't know, I don't care. He can hardly get divorced and marry me instead.
The beeping of a text. She shudders but doesn't look.
4th warning today. Now they're threatening stuff.
Block that number.
Block Vidya? I can't.
It isn't Vidya.
It's him continuing in some way.
I don't know. I'll get out, shall I? Don't you want to say goodbye?
Only to you. I said goodbye to him last night.
I remember. I dreamed I could cover you up.
That wasn't a dream. You did keep covering me up. Thank you.
She kisses Soldier 2 on the lips. She gets out. Scene 5. A door opens into a dark space. Someone gropes with the switch and a dim light goes on. A basement room with no windows. 2 people in the doorway. He is wearing fatigues. She is dressed a girl in a t-shirt and jeans. He never shouts at her, not even to frighten her, because he knows it is more frightening when it is quiet.
Here,
What do you think this was for?
I think it was probably for storage.
What did they use to store here?
What they store here now, equipment for a sanatorium. There's bath there, some shit here, not sure what it is. Steam treatment maybe? I remember having those fucking steam baths.
Is this like a spa?
Fucking 5-star resort.
So did they do medical stuff here too?
Like what? Treatments you mean?
Yeah, like curing musculoskeletal issues or digestive problems.
musculoskeletal. Yeah, that's right.
I used to go to Mirgorod with my grandmother. We drank the special water and had treats.
Shut the fuck up and get dressed.
Did it again. Just listen a bit. My grandmother and me, we went and had treatments. We drank.
Did you fucking hear what I said? Get your clothes off.
Please, can I tell you how we went on holiday first? Me and my grandmother. I had a back problem, and every year we went to this spa place that had mineral water from their drinking fountain, and I had to wear a corset.
Trying to make me feel sorry for you?
Well, you are human.
I'm an animal.
You are a human. You had a steam bath, you said. You must have had a sore throat. I bet you hated it.
You'll have a sore throat soon. My prick will see to that.
Let's not do that today, please. I'll get used to it. Tomorrow I might be begging for it.
I don't give a fuck when you're begging for it. I like it when you're howling.
He hits her in the face, and she screams and cries even more.
See how that turns me on? Touch it. Feel how hard I am. Feel it in your mouth.
He pushes her down onto her knees and forces her head in between his legs. She is crying so hard she is gasping for air.
Give us some steam action then, you cunt.
Weren't you a kid once too? Why are you like this?
I wasn't a kid. I was a little shit. And now I've grown up. I'm the full packet. The biggest shit.
You're not. You're a good man.
Are you having a laugh? I'm a psycho. I like hurting things. I'm a sadist.
But isn't it hard to live like that?
Are you sorry for me?
Yes.
Suck me if you're so sorry for me.
I don't feel sorry for you like that. More like human compassion.
Suck me then, Mother Teresa.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I want you. I really do. Only I feel bad right now. I've got lots on my mind. Let's do it tomorrow. I'll do everything tomorrow. I really do like you.
His erection goes down, and he starts getting really angry.
You a fucking lunatic? Or maybe you're some freaking Buddhist or something. Okay then. I'll fuck you in the arse until you shit yourself, and then I'll put my prick right in your mouth and fuck you as you vomit, and then I'll get the boys down here. A dozen filthy, shell-shocked soldiers who've been living in fucking shit and haven't seen a woman in 3 months, and they'll have you in every hole you've got. My mate Drone is so fucking well on, he'll shove his prick down as far as your kidneys. They'll pull you apart, bitch. Your mother won't recognize you by your knickers, even.
My mother.
Just don't say your mom died or I'll come in your face. Your fucking misery is turning me on. So what you say, you cunt? Keep talking, cunt.
I love you.
What the fuck?
I love you.
He hits her hard.
You take me for some fucking dupe?
Do what you want. It just means you have to do it.
He hits her. She groans but doesn't defend herself and put her hands over her face. She repeats as if in a dream.
You're a good man. I love you. I love you.
He throws himself on her. She doesn't resist. For a while, he's occupied, but he doesn't come. He gets up.
I love.
Shut the fuck up. I can't keep it up.
I'm sorry.
You think you've won, you crafty bitch? Fucking journalist. You reckon you're going to be writing about this on your fucking Facebook page, how you were taken prisoner and you fucked the Phoenix. You'll come out of here in a box, and on your page, all that anyone is writing is, how horrible, what a terrible death, her whole life ahead of her. And she's to blame. What the fuck did she think going there anyways?
I'm sorry.
My men aren't going to give a shit if you resist or not. I'm the only fucking pervert around here. They'll fuck you to death. You wait here and get ready, or bash your brains out on that bath. They'll be coming in here one by one.
He spits on her and leaves. She lies there without moving. Then at last, she moves and sits up. She moans. The door opens. It's him again. She freezes. He comes over to her and urinates on her, then he leaves. She lies there a while, then gets up, sits and howls in horror. The door creaks. She leaves. He comes back in with a tin of meat and a knife. She is wearing the same clothes, only they are dirty. Her hair is messy, and she is in the corner of the room on his feet. She looks at him. He opens the can with the knife.
I'll put it on the ground. You can eat from it like a dog.
Can I eat like a cat? Only I had a cat when I was a kid.
Shut the fuck up about your fucking childhood. I had a fucking hamster. Where does that leave me?
What was his name?
Fluffy. Bit me on my finger and I ripped its teeth out. Its paws. Drowned in its own gore.
That's not true.
You want to be like that hamster?
I ran over a chicken recently.
Fucking mess.
I was driving and it ran across the road and She sobs. He cries a lot.
You're a freak!
I stopped. I got out of the car and went into the yard.
What yard?
The one that the chicken ran out of. I'm
Fuck.
sure I killed it.
Did they tell you you were a freak?
They told me to pay them 200 griven.
Right. They got you a freak straight away. A kilogram of chicken is only 50 griven. Just the meat. So a whole chicken isn't worth more than 30.
I killed it though.
Makes you a murderer, Katie.
Yes.
What if, like, I went into the front yards of all the Ukrainians I killed? I'd be like, I killed your son. How much did he weigh and how much per kilo? What price would you put on a kilo of your log?
1,000?
Are you having a laugh? If good quality chicken costs 50 a kilo, then a fucking disgrace of a Ukrainian is 25. Chicken never did anyone.
It's only to you he's a fucking Ukrainian. For his parents and his country, he's loved and cherished.
Maybe you're right, sweetheart. Okay. Let's say 1,000. So how much does the average Ukrainian weigh?
70 kilos?
70 times 1,000. 70,000 griven? Shit. I've got fucking debts. No one can cost that much. Else I owe about 1 million.
You couldn't owe that much.
Okay. It's not 1 million, but a lot. Why aren't you eating?
He gives her the tin of meat with a knife stuck into the contents. She eats greedily from the knife. She holds the knife and eats from it. He walks around the room and counts.
Of course it's. Have you forgotten your maths? Even if you reckon on me having done for about 30 men or so, that would be 2,010,000. Okay, not everyone costs the same. Some would be cheaper, some more expensive. People come in different sizes.
He stands with his back to her. She looks at him. She has stopped eating.
2 fucking million. Get that. Like some gold heist or something. I'm on Interpol's books, but I'm a hero back home. My mom will get a letter. Like we have an arrest warrant out for your son when he's killed 30 Ukrainian soldiers with a total weight of 2,100 kilos.
So what will your mom say to that?
Mom's in shock. She's happy. She's proud. She gets a medal and a certificate as a reward for bringing me up so good. They want her to have more kids. And she says, you having a fucking joke? I'm 55 and I'm well past babies.
People have babies at 55 now.
There you are. They tell her that they have the best medical care and all that shit.
You'd need the same dad. Otherwise the sons would be different. You couldn't rely on it.
The same dad. He's pissed the whole time. He couldn't get it up if he wanted to. So what now?
Well, it looks like you're unique then. A one-off. Nobody like you in the whole world.
A one-off.
Looks like. He turns suddenly towards her, reaches out. She licks the knife and gives it back to him.
You're funny, you are. Only I bet you're shit in bed. You don't get me going. You a virgin?
I'm 26.
Who the fuck would fall for you? I mean, you're not bad looking or nothing. You have a nice figure. But don't turn me on. Don't know why the fuck you're coming on to me. Fucking crappy bitch.
You're my kind of man.
I'm your type.
Yeah. When I saw you, I thought someone like you couldn't be fighting on their side.
I get it. You think we're all psychos and oddballs. I went to college.
I can see.
Had my medicine in college.
You always idealize the soldiers on your side.
Fucking obvious. Your lot don't take girls prisoners, or gang rape them, or put them up against a wall and shoot them.
Of course not. They're on our side.
I wasn't going to join up. I was going to build a house. I kind of had my own business. As a builder. Most peace-loving fucking business there is. I built palaces for people. Fuckers forced by hand. What side to take, what song to sing.
You remind me of this boy in my class at school. Sasha, I liked him.
I wasn't your school friend. I'm your enemy. You came here to write your fucking stories about us. You dream of wiping us off the map.
If only we'd met 2 years ago, before all of this.
I wouldn't have given you a second glance.
I was different then. You'd have liked me.
Well, I was different too. You wouldn't have liked me. I used to hold hands with the girls, sit on park benches. And you liked to be humiliated.
I was different too.
Exciting, sexual, different smell. Are you Jewish by any chance? No, you're not Jewish. I can snip out a Jew. Everything bad comes from Jews.
I don't agree.
Fucking liberal. Gay parades, all that shit.
Gays and Jews never did me any harm.
Well, the reason you're here, that's all they're doing. You think it's sex? They can fuck who they like, as far as I'm concerned. It's not about sex, it's about power, about universal rule. Because under the beautiful pretense of their European values, they're making wars and pretending nations like ours, like brothers, fight. We're trying to destroy the power of people who uphold real values, like family and religion and equality.
Destroying the power of goodness?
What?
Gays and Jews are destroying the power of goodness?
Yeah, brothers fight brothers, spilling each other's blood, that's their doing. All your fucking mega.
Hang on, what about Americans?
Yeah, them too.
And fascist plotters and nationalists?
Don't take me for an idiot.
I don't.
You want me to be an idiot. Like I'm just generalizing and putting everything in one pile. It's just a really big pile. Because there's a lot of evil in the world and it's in power. They're like helping each other out, getting their own lot of power. They're defending themselves with their laws, their police, and their human rights. Democracy is a cunning god for those fucking snowflakes and queers thought it up. So we all have to pray to it. And they're hiding behind it like it's a wall and feeling fucking smug.
Where's the truth?
There is a truth. Only it's in the fucking arse end of the world where the poor people, the real people, live. I can prove with facts every single point I'm making.
No need.
Afraid of losing the faith? Giving up your European values?
I only believe in one thing.
Yeah,
In goodness.
that's a fucking waste of time. There's none here. That's for sure. You know so much. You've seen so much. You won't get out of here alive.
You just proved to me that you're on the side of goodness. On the side of the poor people, family, religion.
Yeah? That doesn't mean I'm good.
He holds a knife to her throat.
Now you're going to tell me that gays are evil, that Jews, Americans, and Ukrainians are evil, and Maidan is evil, and Ukraine doesn't exist.
Yes, it's evil, it is. No, it doesn't exist. Ow.
Does it hurt? Now I'm going to gouge your eyes out.
She collapses in a faint. He slaps her cheeks.
Stupid? It was a joke.
He comes in with a pail of water and a jug.
I want to wash you. You're covered in piss.
Okay.
Get undressed.
She obediently gets undressed. He watches. I can do it myself.
Leave it.
He pours water from the jug on her. She winces.
Goodbye.
Yes, ow.
Sorry. I'll cool it down.
He pours hot water on her head.
It'll be nice and clean. You got a nice arse. Just the right size. But I don't like the nipples like yours. Pale ones. I like them when they're big and dark brown. So when you touch them, they feel like that material they put in coffins.
Velvet?
That's it. Like velvet. Or butterfly wings. How do you get rid of your pubes?
Appellation.
Is that like a laser?
No, they put wax on them and they peel it off.
Hurts?
Yeah.
You like it when it hurts.
He pinches her nipple. Ow.
Ow. That's giving me a hard on.
She looks at him frightened.
Joking. I wanted to check you loved me. You love me, right?
Right.
I had this dream that you and me were at the butcher's together and looking at meat. I haven't dreamt about anything apart from the war in a long time. And you say, let's get veal. And I say pork. I love pork. So we get pork, of course. And then we get some salad and tomatoes. Tomatoes like this big. My nan had
He falters. What was your nan's name?
Yuda.
Mine was called Vasya.
She was really kind.
All grandmothers.
No, they aren't.
He is silent. She trembles with the cold. He seems to be crying. Getting cold, Oleg.
fucking mind? I'm not Oleg.
It's just really frightening when you cry. I just said it because I was frightened.
What the fuck, Oleg? It's a fucking pervert's name. My name is Stas.
Mine is Yulia.
I know. Got your papers. You get some clothes on, Yulia. Here,
He gives her a set of men's fatigues.
small as there was.
She puts them on.
You become an animal.
Me?
No, me. See stuff you never wanted to see. Even death. Death, you know, death would be easy. We're kind of used to death being like the fucking be-all, but like the height of terror. You never forget the first time you see a being killed in action. Take a ring off the finger 10th. I didn't take the ring. I just mean you're not shocked by it anymore. Just happy it wasn't you. And then you can't even feel happy because you can't feel anything anymore. The depths are more frightening than death. Look down and you think you've seen your closest point. You're fucking mistaken. There's another lower point under that one, and then another, and under that there's a dead comrade with his eyes gouged out. Who did that to him? A person, another human. And then you go and eat. You eat meat from a can and you think, the next prisoner I take, I'll gouge his eyes out, alive. You get me?
Yes.
You don't get fuck.
I know a way back.
What the fuck do you know? You couldn't even get out of here and the door's open.
I know.
Fuck off then. There's no one else around apart from us. Go.
I'm not going without you.
Where are you going with me, crazy lady?
I don't know. Anywhere.
I'm sick in the head. Get out. Go on while I'm letting you.
Any trauma can be turned into experience.
And what do I do with this fucking experience?
I don't know. I just read it. That all trauma can be turned into experience and can help you live life further.
You're making it up. This experience never helps anyone. It just brings the end of the world nearer.
You had a dream of a time before war today. So something is left. It's a sign. Hope.
Yeah, that was a funny dream. Only I didn't tell you the rest. I started getting the meat ready for the barbecue, and it's got maggots crawling all over it.
You just made that up.
He laughs. He is sitting on the side of the bath.
Come and sit with me, Julia.
She sits by him. He looks at her.
Like a park bench.
More like a wall. A bench is a bit wider.
You're right. Like a wall.
He puts his arm around her shoulders. They sit like that a while.
Oh, was that it?
Yes.
Idiot. Are we going to kiss?
Okay.
He kisses her. Long kisses with pauses between them. He strokes her shoulder. They sit like this, kissing like lovers on a park bench or a wall in a small town. On their first date, straight from the cinema.
I'm not even going to touch your breasts. Do you like that?
Yes.
Can you hear?
What?
Kids.
Yes.
Fucking amazing.
Wait there a moment.
Okay.
She gets up and goes behind him.
Don't look, okay?
I won't.
She picks up a brick.
I'm so scared of you.
What?
She hits him on the back of the head hard a few times. He falls into the bath. She spits on him without any force. A girl spitting, a comic note in a tragic scene. Then she urinates on him with her two legs up on the sides of the bath. Then she sits for a while and cries. Then she takes his gun and leaves the basement. Before war. A girl who has been crying knocks on a wooden gate on the road. A woman, Vasya's wife, comes out to the gate.
Hello. What do you want? We don't open the gate to people from the road. Were you raped? I can call the police.
No need. I ran over your chicken.
So?
It's dying.
And what do you want from us?
The girl sobs.
Vasya, come here. This girl says she ran over our chicken and she's crying.
Vasya comes to the gate. He looks at the girl suspiciously.
What do you want?
I was driving and it threw itself under my car.
What you're saying sounds a proper kamikaze chicken. More like you were driving too fast and you weren't looking. Were you driving?
Well, it's tart and it ran out suddenly.
So what do you want from us? You run our chicken over, and then you come here. You want me to say thank you?
I know I can't bring back the chicken, but I'm happy to pay for it.
This is a fucking circus.
So which chicken is it?
Vasya's wife opens the gate and goes out onto the road. She returns Carrie the dead chicken.
It's our little lair.
I'm so sorry. Oh God, what a nightmare. I've got a parrot at home myself. Oh, look, it's still moving. Is it alive? Let's take it to the vets. Only put it in a box so it doesn't get blood on my car seat.
Vasya exchanges glances with his wife. Vasya leaves and returns, but with an axe rather than a box. He puts the nearly dead chicken on the path and chops its head off. The girl screams.
Put it out of its misery.
But what if it could have been saved?
Oh, right. Put a bandage on it and push it around in a wheelchair. Take it to Sanatoria.
The girl is very stressed. She has never seen a chicken being killed before. She weeps bitter tears.
Yes, I see. How much do you want?
I don't know, Vasya, but she was a good lair.
100 graven, and get going.
Vasya,
Well, I don't know how much then. I've never sold a chicken like this before.
200.
Okay, hang on.
Vasya and his wife watch her open a pretty bag and get out a pretty purse and open it. It is empty.
Oh goodness, I haven't got any cash. I brought some money, only a card.
Vasya, do we accept credit cards? No, I don't think we do.
So embarrassing. Is there a cash machine anywhere nearby?
She's having a laugh.
Oh God, I'll bring the money tomorrow.
I see.
She'll bring it tomorrow. This is some kind of scam. Go on with you, girl. Let it keep you awake at night.
I'll go now. Get some money out in the town and I'll come back. 200.
The girl knocks on the wooden gate. Vasya's wife comes out.
Well, look at that. She's back.
Of course I am. I made a promise.
These days, everyone makes promises, but no one keeps them. Starting with the president and right down to all the rest.
Who's that?
It's her.
It's me. Here.
She gets out 200 griven. They look at her.
I've already plucked it. I thought we'd have enough for borscht, but you flattened her and I couldn't do any more than feed her to the dogs.
How horrible.
It's not easy when you're poor.
Vasya's wife does not accept the money.
She laid upward of 30 eggs a month, like a golden goose she was. A dozen eggs is about 30 griven, so we're going to lose about 100 a month. Take that for a year, and we're losing 1,200 griven. She could have kept laying for about 2 years. That's 2,400.
Oh, I haven't got that much.
I mean, you'd think just a simple chicken, but she was keeping a whole family alive.
I've got 1,000 here. Of course, I never imagined that it should cost.
And then I used to talk to her. Not with the other chickens, but I did with her. She was more than just a chicken.
Vasya's wife doesn't accept the 1,000 griven which the girl offers her.
What if I was to run you over, run over your parrot?
I haven't got that much in my card. I took out all the money I had.
Vasya,
Vasya comes out.
she's only got 1,000.
We'll have to bring the police and prosecute, or we'll lock you in our basement until your family arrives with some proper money.
Are you serious?
It was you who killed the chicken.
I can give you my bracelet if you want.
Vasya's wife takes the girl's arm and examines the bracelet.
What is it?
Silver.
That's not worth much.
Actually, it is worth a bit.
How much?
I don't know. It was a present.
What's that around your neck?
That isn't worth anything, but it has sentimental value.
It's gold.
It isn't.
I know gold when I see it. Take it off. Let me look.
But it was given to me by someone who loves me.
We loved our chicken.
The girl takes off the chain from around her neck. She gives them the bracelet, chain, and 1,000 griven. Vasya's wife takes it all and places it in her apron pocket. They look the girl up and down. Still, they don't dismiss her.
I'll come back tomorrow and buy the jewelry. Okay?
They are silent. They look at her.
Can I go, please?
Where?
Home?
They don't answer. Vasya takes her handbag. He and his wife examine the contents. The girl is very frightened.
Look at this.
Vasya's wife opens a makeup bag and takes out a pretty powder compact. She sniffs the perfume.
You can keep that if you like.
I do like it. Thank you.
She puts it into the apron pocket. Vasya takes out the car keys.
What have you got in your car?
In the car? Only honey. I bought honey. Would you like it?
No, thank you. We have honey.
Nice car. Pricey.
The girl can't quite believe they want the car. Then she can. A neighbor's child starts crying, and the woman calls her husband. Darling, Marina's crying. Go and see. I've got my hands in dough. Vasya and his wife turn towards their neighbor's house. Vasya's wife shakes herself as if shaking off a bad dream. She thrusts the bag and car keys at the girl.
Get out of here, like a bleeding headless chicken. Go on with you. Don't tempt us.
She pushes her away with force.